What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven here with round one of the Golden Gauntlet 3, and we are up against a Cerebro 5 deck, which looks to be particularly spicy. I am playing Hela with Supergiant because I think it's going to be good up against Invisible Woman. And to start off here, we could Blade an Infinite. Blade on an Infinite could be a lot of power in one location. I'm checking. My opponent has no ways to remove location, so they cannot battle for the throne room. Because if they get the Cerebro buff in the throne room, then they lose the other locations. So they... Ooh. Okay, well, they can get rid of Martyr's ability with the Ancient One's Tal Mandala. Oh, you cannot see this. Apologies. I wanted to show their deck list in full there. But they just played a Martyr into the third location. So Martyr can move into Kunlun or into Throne Room to lose my opponent the game. But like I said, the Tal Mandala from the Ancient One should be able to remove this ability. We have an Emperor Hulkling that can create Doombots, which feels pretty fantastic. We can kind of just slam that center, and then we'll put a 5-point card into Throne Room as well as my opponent. So then we just have to battle for the other two locations, which I feel is reasonable. We're going to go Ghost Rider here. We're going to go Emperor Hulkling here. Let me double check. It's the first round. We're warming up, but I don't see any way for them to impact locations with their deck. Oh, right. The Tal Mandala. So I think they're just going to give me Throne Room. That's my estimation here. Yeah, they do have the Ancient One. But I think they just have to give me Throne Room, which means we just have to battle for one of these two locations. We're going to start by battling for Kunlun because I don't want to lock myself out of Shadowland. That doesn't seem great, especially when I have the opportunity to make Doomlings, but I think we're battling for Kunlun. Oh, Cerebro Center. That is actually not what I had imagined would happen here. So I don't really want to Hela. I don't want to get cards in Throne Room. If we Jubilee, we could Legion. Legion would actually be terrible in this matchup. Gambit or Blink is fine, though if we Jubilee into Blink, then Ghost Rider will turn into Legion. So all of that actually seems bad. I think we're just going to do nothing and then Hulkling in Kunlun. I'm having trouble. I mean, this is like the first game, so that brings some nerves along with it. But I don't see how we lose with a play like this. Double checking their cards. So if they make all of these cards here into Cerebro, they just have a bunch of points in Throne Room. All of the other cards shrink. And we're going to meet them here for 5 power. I think that this does it. Yeah, Tal Mandala, do they have any way to get rid of this Martyr ability? Or is Martyr about to cost my opponent the game? These are huge Cerebro buffs. And then Miss Marvel. Yeah, I think that they just always win Throne Room here and then lose the other two locations. Oh, didn't even need to happen because I had already won. So Martyr didn't even need to move. Okay. I was like, why is Martyr not moving? Because they'd already lost. Okay, and Captain Marvel could not... Well... Oh, if Captain Marvel moved, it would move into Kunlun and also cost them the game, because then this location would shrink down to 8 points. Right, yeah, some really terrible locations there for my opponent, but that is really cool to know. I did not even know that interaction. You play Martyr, then you play Captain Marvel, so Martyr will always move before Captain Marvel moves. That is really curious. If we can make this enter location into Valhalla, we mess up Medusa. Supergiant probably doesn't mess with my opponent. I mean, it stops them from playing a turn 5 Serra, which is part of the reason that you play Supergiant. If they wave, then, you know, it's not that important. But if they wave, then we have an opportunity to Legion on turn 4, which also has some interesting applications. Rhino into Mojo World is a really cool play. Then we have Bar Sinister. I actually do think I like that. If we Legion into Bar Sinister, then my opponent only gets to play, like, I'm playing this on turn 4, and then on turn 5 we play to each of these other 2 locations. I think I'm going to Corvus here. Do I want to Corvus into Valhalla? That is really... I think that's too risky. I think we're going to Corvus... Oh, but I could always blink this away. If I really hate it, I could blink it away, like if I draw Hela next turn. Sure. I think this just gives me interesting options. So we're going to go for the... what's it called? Corvus into Valhalla here. We discard both of our 5s. Okay, just don't draw exactly Hela right here. Or we play Ghost Rider. They did not play Cerebro into Bar Sinister. That's interesting. We can play Ghost Rider. We get back, you know, the Blink, potentially, and get rid of the Corvus. Or we just Legion everything, which does lock them out of center, which is interesting. This seems like a cool play. End of turn, we will discard the rest of our hand for the most part. Oh, you know what? What if we did this? Now we're actually blinking the blade. I like that. Okay, cool. Miss Marvel again on the side location. We're going to discard Supergiant, reanimate something, probably not the blink. No, it's going to be the Legion at this point. And then, end of turn, we're going to do it all again. So we will get one more card back here. And this could be the blink. No, that's going to be the Supergiant. Okay. And this should, yep, lock them out of the center location. Now, they do still have access to Mystique, or no? No, they don't have access to Mystique, but they could Tau Mandala this Miss Marvel. But we're looking reasonable here in Valhalla. And then we also have the opportunity to... yeah, I guess it's just draw Hela or Jubilee into Hela, but either of those things seem good. And then the other option is pass and hope to hit Infinite. That seems like a stretch for sure. I'm going to Jubilee open. And I'm debating a snap. Let's see if they play the Ancient One this turn. Oh, they cannot. Oh, I didn't realize that. I should have snapped. I do draw the Infinite here, which is awkward. I think I'm willing to ride this out for 2 cubes. In my discarded pile is Odin and Blink, and I'm only a 1 in 3 to hit Hela. If I had played the Jubilee Center, I would feel a lot more confident right now, but as is, I either like have to get lucky with Gambit. Oh, Miss Marvel's shut off because we've got 2 rocks here. Right. I forgot how clutch that Valhalla was. It's just going to be a retreat from my opponent. Okay, probably could have snapped last turn and gotten a retreat from them then, to be honest. But I think I was always pressing end turn there, but I at least wanted to think about it. Lemuria is going to pop up here on turn 1. It means nothing to us, as we both skip our first turn. Location number 2 is the Baxter Building. Then I find Corvus. That's a big find. So I think, ooh, Mindscape is always funky. And then I also have the Hulkling Galactus. Well, Mindscape is always funky with a discard deck, but I certainly feel like I might want to Corvus into Baxter Building, take Prio. Emperor Hulkling seems like it has the means to just really funk my opponent up here. I wonder if they will ever battle for Baxter Building. I think that they typically do. So I think I'm going to try to keep them honest here. Hopefully Emperor Hulkling does not cost me the game. All right, so now the jig is up because you can go to the discarded section here and click on the Hulkling and see that it copied a Galactus ability. So could have been cool, but unfortunately not going to come into play this game. So we actually do have an opportunity here to Supergiant, which could just mess up my opponent. Again, take them off Sarah, do some other stuff, but it also gets allows me to show off the Supergiant combo with the deck, which is now I can play Hela on turn 5, and then on turn 6 I could play like Gambit plus Blade or something. So yeah, we're gonna Supergiant here. They are going to Martyr and Wave. Oh shoot, right, it's still a Mindscape game. Well, that's not great, but it's fine. We are simply going to Hela here. We have to, and the Hela does have 2 pretty good hits. We're going to give them... Honestly, we're going to give them pretty terrible cards. Blink turns them off of Cerebro. Gambit is a totally fine and respectable card, and Infinite they can't play. I think that Mindscape's actually just equally terrible for my opponent. Probably more terrible for them, to be totally honest. So, I think a snap is good here. They are going to lock in, and this is a very particular part. Now, I'm getting my opponent's hand here. I can see which card that they've played, but this is a very weird part of Marvel Snap that I hate that it is part of the game. But I can tell because of this orange border that it was created by the Ancient One. So that is why I orange border all of my cards. So that way there's no distinction when they're face down. Very weird that that's a thing, but it is. So this is Cerebro Talmandala. We possibly want to avoid the Baxter building for that reason. This puts 15 power on the board. We do have Prio, so maybe Hulk lands over here. But not if we play the Doctor Doom. I think I'm not gonna... do I want to try to Hulk them? It's funny. It's really funny. I think this will hop out of the Baxter building. Though I'm not 100% positive. I'll just play it out like this. That could mess with my Jubilee, though. Let's just do this. I don't want to mess with the Jubilee. I think that could be bad. What could this be? Oh, just a Gambit. Just a Gambit, sure. Yeah, that's a pretty low impact final turn. So I think I might just be able to win Mindscape and Lemuria, especially with a Jubilee on Odin there. That's pretty good. That's also going to get me a Legion for more Mindscape, so I also don't have to worry about this additional power from Baxter building, and I should be able to win both of these 2 side locations against a triple Cerebro draw here. That's a wave for 14, up to 17 from Gambit, right? Not gonna do it. Cool. One more cube we gotta take from him. Just gonna check the messages on Discord because... Okay, it looks like everything is up and running just fine. There were only 100 matches this round, and then the other 800 people got a buy initially. Or something funky happened with everything. Maybe like people didn't check in. There's a lot bigger of a casual audience in this tournament, because it was announced in-game as well for the first time. Yeah, we're just going to discard these cards to Corvus. The snap is gone. So here's the interesting thing, and why I said Legion is bad in this matchup, not just bad in the game. Okay, sure, they're not going to play to Necrotia. That's funny. And we can... So, okay, now I've got to say 2 things. But the first thing I wanted to say is if you make every location Necrotia, then no locations are Necrotia. It's kind of a wash, because then my opponent's just playing Cerebro 3, so it doesn't really matter. The other funny thing that I wanted to bring up, though, is I was actually, to do my weekend missions, I was playing Galactus for steps in this Emperor Hulkling slot. Not that it was good, just that I felt it wouldn't really matter. Because, yeah, my... but it's funny to see us actually get a Galactus first steps here. I'm also thinking about what I want to do this turn. If I get this Ghost Rider into play and it gives me the Galactus, then it will start growing. But I don't want to hit the blade, so I think I'm going to blink this Corvus and see if we can find ourselves a Hela off of that. All right, they wave here. We're ignoring Hala. If this is Hela, that could be good, but that was also my Herald. So my Herald is now gone, so, you know. Yeah, I should say, like, oh, are we going to blow this location up? Oh, almost. Wow, we almost did. If the Galactus went over here. But instead, we are just going to lose our blade, unfortunately. We have way too much power in Necrotia for a location that we are always winning. So that's kind of a bummer. I think we probably just Supergiant Sentinel and then... Oh, wait, the Martyr... They have to erase this Martyr too, or it flies into Necrotia. I'm just thinking I might not want to play this Legion at all. Though it could actually just always fly into Necrotia. This isn't a pumping location, so it's not as devastating as the previous Martyr. If it just flies into Necrotia, then it's basically just removing itself. Looks like they are going to play a little bit into Necrotia. Supergiant on turn 5 does nothing. It's just a 4/7. Oh, I guess I could have played... Legion was a 4/7 last turn only. Oh, okay. Alright, maybe that would have been better. But we're just going to do this, and there's no retreating at this point. This is 6 points over here. So if Martyr hops center and then Scarlet Spider puts a point here, it's reasonable. I think maybe I do want one more thing over here, though. It's exactly 15. We also get to Gambit something. I think this is fine. I mean, we're not retreating here, right? Looks like they do have Cerebro plus Tau Mandala. Scarlet Spider always goes to Orcus Forge. Martyr's going to wind up sticking around in Hala, which means I think I just lose no matter what, unless we Gambit, and yeah, I mean, that takes off a sizable amount of points from them, but it's never enough. Because this Martyr is still... Wait. The Martyr's going to be for 11. Oh, no. That actually just did it. Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, calculated. There's round 1. Cerebro 5. Very cool deck, but I like my deck as well. We'll see how it does. I'm doing a giveaway for PAX bundles. Stick around till the end of the video to find out how you can win. Round 2, and we are up against a Merlin Agamotto deck that is using Merlin spells and Agamotto spells, as well as Viper, all to get rid of the Sentries, the Void. This is a good location for Legion to start off. Interestingly, though, no... what's it called? Stardust, and no, I might even want to think about snapping here. Okay, Merlin is now going to have a bunch of free spells with Elysium. Okay, and their deck is cheaper, so from that perspective, they take better advantage of Elysium, but now we have Project Pegasus too. We are not going to be hurting for energy here. They get to slam their Agamotto this turn. No Cersei, that's what I was going to say. So we could play our Infinite here. Then it dies to a Shang-Chi. So it's a little bit awkward, but it also feels like a little bit of a waste to not just slam the Infinite, right? Yeah, they could always get rid of Elysium too, so I think let's take advantage of this extra energy while we have it, right? I think so. We have 2 different locations where we could potentially play a Legion. I'm going to hang on to this Corvus for a moment. They actually give me the Void this turn. Wow. Okay. And then they get rid of their shield.
Hello. So happy.
So, yeah, Legion on a Project Pegasus gives us a bunch of extra energy. They've got 2 cards left in hand, plus a Merlin spell. Ooh, what does this give us? Dr. Doom is not terrible. I might want to play Jubilee and go fishing a little bit here. Don't really want to hit Hela, though we could Odin the Hela later. Sure, this just seems fine and energy efficient for now. You know what else? We could turn off Elysium. Not this turn, but we could eventually turn off Elysium. If this is a... Yeah, I guess I don't want to do that this turn now. So I guess we actually just always flip over a Ghost Rider card at the end of the game. That seems pretty smart, actually. And then I might be playing Legion into Wakandan Embassy next turn, or just Emperor Hulkling. Still a few ways this could go, for sure. But I do feel like we're going to get the points to be able to compete in Wakandan Embassy, probably. I mean, this is a huge point lead for them already. Maybe we'll have to lean on Ghost Rider Infinite. Or, yeah, against a Shang-Chi, I mean. This is a new border, right? Is this the hood? Did they play the hood earlier? I don't think so. Talked about that in the previous match. We do have Blade plus Hela here. That definitely loses us Wakandan Embassy. But this could bring back Emperor Hulkling. I awkwardly can't go Legion plus Blade. I'm actually just thinking about this move. This gives me a lot of opportunity to do something funky on the final turn. If we draw Odin, that could also be pretty spicy. We could maybe discard Odin with Blade. Or we could just Odin the Emperor Hulkling. Now, 3 cards here. One of them has just got to be a Merlin spell to change this location, right? Because they're not going to take themselves off the opportunity. Oh, these are Agamotto spells. We had seen this border before. So we actually are pretty confident this is an Agamotto at this point. Because they spent all of their energy on it last turn. They polymorph the hood, and then they Omniversal Presence Project Pegasus into cloning vats. That actually is interesting because it means... actually means something very, very particular. It means that we could play Emperor Hulkling, get it back into our hand, and discard it again with Blade to be able to bring it back into this location. I'm also thinking, so with 16 energy here, that's enough to play all of these cards and specifically discard this, so that way we always get this back. So what if we actually played Hela first, simply as a means to dump it here? Then we played this. Then we played this. Then we played this. This would always bring back the Hulkling right here. I don't know if I have time to undo all of this. I do. Okay, this is slightly better because we'll get a Doombot here.
Minions to me.
Really wacky final turn here. But we take out Merlin. Oh, we're going to add Corvus Glaive back to our hand. So there's a 50-50 that we reanimate Corvus Glaive now on the left. But we're trying to dodge Shang-Chi here specifically. Oh, I don't think that we put enough points into Project Pegasus. They also gave us a rock. That is a bummer, because, yeah, now we lose to the Agamotto. Dang, they didn't have the Shang-Chi, and the Agamotto just goes over the top. We could have put 12 more points over in Project Pegasus. We could have put 9 more points, and then 4 more points. So what is that, 13 more points? We actually, yeah, Project Pegasus was just 2 out of reach. All right, well, we lost 2 cubes. It's not the worst thing in the world. I think it was worth going for. Now we find Magneto. Magneto can pull over the Void from the Sentry, so that's kind of fun. Necrotia, I mean, they could give me their hood in Necrotia. Turn 1 Temporal Manip is pretty good. This is pretty good against Gambit. They don't have a great location for Sam Wilson this turn, though, so got that going for me. And what is this on again? Magneto. Magneto. I did think about just playing Magneto in the deck, just as like an interesting tech card, but you know what? A hidden Magneto is probably even better than just a straight-up Magneto, so that's fun. Now we have Asgard. We can run out Corvus, and then we can blink the Corvus into Asgard next turn. Or we could Ghost Rider if we get like Hela Emperor Hulkling here. We could just go for a Ghost Rider. All of this looks good to start. Let's see what we discard. Hate that. Absolutely hate that. I didn't even notice the debris in my opponent's deck initially. So we could pull debris into Asgard. That's probably good enough. Or we could pull debris into Necrotia, which is just fine. Next turn, we get to blink the Ghost Rider, so we're still live here. I think we snap. We could draw Infinite or Odin or Ghost Rider, but if we blink this into Odin and we get the Hela here, that could also be really good. All right, we're going to take a cube, and they are going to take a walk here. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't see the debris on my first look through my opponent's deck. It's another cool combo with Agamotto and with Merlin. Not one that you see super often. I was more focused on the Quinjet Agent Coulson angle from my opponent's deck. Quinjet also makes the Agamotto skills cheaper. But then, yeah, playing it alongside Agent Coulson is pretty cute. You do not see that super often. Agent Coulson also gives my opponent some face down cards. I've talked about that in the open deck list format. Similar to the Emperor Hulkling. It's cards that your opponent will not know exactly what the power output of them is. So that's cool. And then, yeah, Shang-Chi really the only tech, and that shouldn't be too difficult to play around. We haven't been doing it so far, but I think we can going forward. I might just hold on to the Chimichanga for Corvus food. Depends, but we can make that decision next turn. Each turn give... Oh, hold on. If we play the Chimichanga here right now, it could get a +1 power from Yggdrasil. I'm holding on to it in case I draw Hela next turn. Yeah. It's just safer. It's also a really interesting blink target, to be honest. I could go turn 4 after Corvus. I could go Chimichanga Blink, and that could be a lot of fun. It could even make it reasonable to play the Chimichanga this turn. Well, now I'm definitely playing the Chimichanga here. Yeah, again, this is a Shang-Chi-able location, but I'd certainly rather potentially get another Hulk and expose myself to a Shang-Chi. We could make more Chimichangas with a Legion next turn and then blink one of those Chimichangas the following turn. It's kind of a cute angle. We'll see what we hang on to here. They're going to make 3 Hulks, so they do have Hulk advantage. I was pretty sure that would happen. Okay, now we'll wind up blinking a rock, but that's still fine. It's actually better. Because a Chimichanga could get blinked into a blade, whereas a rock can only get blinked into something better. cannot blink a Hulk, but I could also just blink a Blade now. So that's an interesting aspect about what's going on here. I'm just hoping that Yggdrasil keeps up pumping up this location where they're probably just going to Shang-Chi me regardless. But let's grab some more chimichangas here, I believe. Yeah, I think that that's good. I don't think we really need them. But my opponent basically has to play them this turn. They can't wait until the final turn to play them, so we get a little bit of an advantage over them because of that. And currently discarded is Infinite and then Supergiant. We could get more chimichangas. I think we're going to wind up Odining the Blink. Not if we want to play Blade here, though. Sure. Next turn we could still Blade plus Odin if we hit Hela right here. Hit Ghost Rider, that's a little awkward. Yeah, Blade plus Odin seems good. I'm going to keep the Chimichanga just to stay flexible with it. They're going to drop their Chimichangas here. Temporal Manipulation, and then what else? Could be a Shang-Chi. Just get it out of the way. Oh, Bolts. That's a really good play. Bolts and then a pair of Chimichangas. So next turn they will be able to play Shang-Chi plus Agamotto. And we're going to start blinking here. We discard Odin. It's a bad discard. What did we kill? A rock. That's a bad hit as well. All right, and then we redraw the rock. So Jubilee could find a 1 in 3 to give me Hela. Jubilee hitting Ghost Rider doesn't even do anything here. That would really be my play. Wait. I think I ordered that wrong. Yeah, we want to do this. It's a 1 in 3 to hit Hela. I don't hate a 1 in 3. And then we're reanimating both of the Infinite and Supergiant, but maybe also bringing back Odin Supergiant, which isn't enough to beat Agamotto here. So it's like a 1 in 3 on top of another 2 in 3. Or on top of a 50-50. Yeah. Oh, and I was discarding the rock. That was just a sequencing issue. I could have cleaned that up, but... yeah. Not the best. All right, all right. 7 cubes to their 9. I think there's still plenty of opportunity here. They're doing well finding the whole high rolls. Clog is also quite good against Hela. It's good against Gambit. And it's good just against the Hela stuff in general. We can Legion away this location. That could be useful. We're looking for just like a clean Legion win for a game, though, for sure. Just a location that says, I can snap. I can snap to that one. Wonder what's going on with my opponent here. All right. They've made a decision. It is the Hood. Cool, cool, cool. Ooh, Bar Sinister, eh? Well, you need ramp in order to, like, really take advantage of Bar Sinister. It could allow them to, like, debris or something, which is also pretty crazy. Pretty wild. Though if they debris here, then the game is over and I've won, right? So, I don't think that's the play. Sadly, do not believe that's what they're going to go for. Gambit in here is always fun. Viper would be the, like, very straightforward play. In those scenarios, I'm just losing this location regardless. They would still have to play another card there later, but that shouldn't be too difficult for them to find. I think Blade discarding Infinite is totally fine right now. And then I think we're going to need to Legion White Palace, which means I wouldn't mind just giving them the Infinite. But we're going to start with this. Okay, okay. It's nothing crazy just yet. Oh, they can just play Sentry into nowhere. That's also kind of fun. I can Ghost Rider and get my guy back. That's reasonable. I can Jubilee into Supergiant, which honestly feels less reasonable, though Gambit into Bar Sinister could be fun. They could still disrupt that with a Debris. I think I am going to run out the Jubilee here. I would hate to have the Infinite spawn in Bar Sinister, but it would play around some things. We do still have Prio here. Let's see where this gets me. Yeah, they're just generating some Hope Summers energy this turn. We do find Hela. I'd love that to go into nowhere. That's awesome. That's awesome. And we still have Odin into this location to do some other fun stuff. I currently do not wish to Legion Bar Sinister, allowing them to Shang-Chi this. I do not wish to do that. I'm kind of thinking Blink on the Jubilee, but I'm also thinking that Gambit feels reasonable here. Gambit discards 3 things. If we hang on to Odin or Blink, there's fun stuff that we can do with this. We should be snapping, and this just might cause a retreat regardless. But I think I like the play here. The only awkward thing is we're not really killing that great of stuff with Gambit. They've got Rocks, the Hood. I'm just trying to hit Hope Summers here. Okay, we lose the Blink. We lose one of the Gambit triggers. I'd like to hang on to... this might have just been risky. Okay, we do get Hope Summers out. That I feel really good about. So now if I battle for Agamotto, they don't have to put that many points here. So I'm beating them by 12, so they would need to... Well, they only get 2 copies of it. Okay, that actually does need to be something big. And then we're just going to play Agamotto here. Like, if they Shang-Chi, what else do they have? They don't have extra energy this turn. I just didn't want to get Vipered out. I don't see how they win this. And I don't see a reason to do something else. We could play Odin, but then we still lose to a Shang-Chi, so let's just make them put something over here. Oh, they could play Sentry, and then they could play 2 really tiny things. But they can't. They're 2 tiny things. Oh, they could play Demon plus Quinjet, and then a Sentry into Bar Sinister. They need to have exactly that, though, because we denied them an energy. So they can't even have, like, Merlin plus Demon. Victory. Yeah. Oh, I guess they could have just played a... Demon would have tied. Demon would have tied in Bar Sinister. And then we probably just went on differential for a 20 power Infinite. Cool. All right. 7-7. Speaking of tie, we've got a tie ball game here going into high stakes rounds. And Emperor Hulkling hits Galactus for the 3rd time in this match. That is pretty funny stuff. I would love to strand them with this shield and a void over here. It's going to be a tough one, though. Going to be a tough one. Yeah, I mean, you need ramp to make that happen. I'm not discarding my Legion to Blade. If they have Sam Wilson, they have a really good play towards the raft, which is awkward. I don't want to discard Supergiant either, so We are sticking it out. That is Sam Wilson. That's a bummer. Excuse me. Wow. Okay, so they are going to be able to activate the raft this turn. We could activate Galactus this turn. That's the tricky part of this. We could activate Galactus, but then it's a Shang-Chi-able Galactus. Oh, man. I think there's a chance this just wins. 8 energy. Maybe they're playing a Viper, but I don't think they want to give me this. I'm going to snap and drop a Galactus. I think there's a chance they fill the raft here, and my Emperor Hulkling Galactus just takes them. Let's find out. Either way, this is fun. They do fill the raft. Is it going to be for 12 power? Could be. This is 4 power already. Then we could see a Sentry. No, we see a Debris. That is exactly what I wanted to see. And then a Viper. That's what I didn't want to see. Man, I didn't think they would give me this. I didn't think they would give me this. They are playing... Oh, they grabbed a Galactus first steps off the raft. And this is now their Herald? I believe Debris is now their Herald because it flipped up first. Man, that's a bummer. Supergiant. Though I do like Legion into Project Pegasus, it also allows... Wait, no, their Galactus is free. So I kind of don't like Supergiant here. I kind of like Legioning into Project Pegasus. Which, what does that mean for this turn? Not much. I think we're going to do nothing. This is Quinjet plus Galactus to just battle for the raft. All right, I respect that. That way Galactus will just continue to pump itself. Let's grab some additional energy and see what else we can come up with here. My opponent has not snapped. I don't think that a snap would be unreasonable for them here. They got to be thinking, like, what is NoLux up to? Because I'm not playing an Infinite this turn, clearly, right? Then on the final turn of the game, we'll have a bunch of energy, and I've got to hope that that's enough that I can somehow overcome them in the raft. And I don't have to worry about Shang-Chi now that we have certainly tossed priority. I can blink Legion into a likely Infinite, or... Well, I could probably still reanimate that Infinite fairly easily. Something like this wins Project Pegasus, right? And then we have to figure out how to win the other location. Because that always gets back the Infinite. But is that too much? I think it could be too much. I only need 15 points here. Only 15. Might just have to be this. Sure. And I'm thinking I don't want to blink this into Odin. That seems way overkill. I would rather spend the blink elsewhere. But I don't see how to. Oh, I think I've got it. But then it could show up here. It's a 50-50 where this Infinite's going to go. It's a little all over the place, but I think that this is a good play. It's for all the cubes. Time was ticking. Okay, this is going to be 30 points. Infinite does still clear over here, though. And I don't think they clear me center regardless. I think regardless of where this Infinite spawns, it's good. Okay, we lose this location, but we win Project Pegasus, and we win Project Pegasus, right? Yes. Because now that's going to turn into... Oh, it could have turned into a Jubilee. Wow, that was actually a 50-50 to lose me the game. NoLucksGiven, baby. We got it done. Crazy match. GG. Who baby. Fairly straightforward deck for round 3. I almost played Mr. Negative for this event because I think it's a great way to go over the top of all of the Invisible Woman players. And yeah, it was something that I definitely thought could be strong in an event like this. And I was going to play the Wong version as well. One thing that we do have going for us is Supergiant to stop Jane Foster Thor. One thing that we don't have going for us is, well, okay, we do have a way to interact with magic. We can Legion away a Limbo. That might be really useful. Quick note, unfortunately, I do not remove this graphic for the entirety of this round. Almost did it in an earlier round. It's bound to happen sometimes. I wanted to make the deck list bigger so everyone could see it. So hopefully I do a good enough job doing commentary over this round that you understand what's happening. But yeah, it's going to be a little scuffed. And we have the Legion to kick things off. So I feel pretty good about that. We also have an Arnim Zola. That could get us a few more points. Now, in general, I would say my opponent's deck has the bigger capacity to just go big. Supergiant could be a helpful inclusion, though, as well. And we have Legion to not only remove Limbo, but also Sinister London. Now, if we take priority, then we cannot use Legion to remove Limbo. If, you know, they play it on that same turn. If they don't have a 2-drop, okay, they do have a 2-drop. No 2-drop, you could just snap to put the pressure on them, though they have not snapped, so that kind of implies they don't have the Mr. Negative. If they have the Mr. Negative, they're going to play it into X Mansion this turn, and with that snap, we might want to just respect that snap. Otherwise, what are we doing here? We can't really play Supergiant. Well, we could, but if they play a turn 4 Limbo, then that gets really awkward. I think we're going to walk this one back for 1 cube. We do have a few of our interesting interactive ways that can get my opponent, but we also don't have anything super incredible here that I'm inclined to give them another cube or 2. So let's just get out of that one for a cube. My opponent said this is their very first Marvel Snap tournament, so that is cool. Central Park, not great for us, especially drawing Gambit, but we do have the turn 3 Corvus. So that's a pretty nice hit. We could also send the entire hand here with Camartage. Don't think we're going to do that. We'll see if they wind up playing Psylocke into Camartage. No 2-drop for them. That could just mean that we snap. Don't think we're going to Corvus into Camartage. That would only leave us with 1 card in hand. I think we're instead going to go for this maneuver. Oh, we also have Legion into Central Park. Oh, that is something that we have to consider now then, right? I think I want to snap that they didn't play a 2-drop. I think I just want to keep it that simple. Now, there is an interesting sequencing thing here, but they're most likely to play Magic this turn if they have it. They are, by the looks of it, going to shut down Central Park with that Magic. So we will just need to find a Hela or another effect to get back our Legion. Maybe fine. I mean, everything on our deck is a blink target, so this could be 1 out of 5 different things, but we're going to run it here. And I'm thinking about Odin on blink next turn. Well, that's just a good hit. They did not go for that into Camartage. That is curious. Oh, they're saving this for a Wong location, aren't they? Oh, they are indeed. I'm planning on gambiting here, I think. But I think we're also going to blink this into either a Hulkling or a Hela, and then hope that the Legion comes back as a 50-50. So this is a 50-50 into a 2 out of 3, but I like those odds. Let's play for it here. We're going to do it now while Blink is our most recently played card. We could have also Jubileed here and then turned the Jubilee into a Hela. There's a chance that was better. We get Emperor, Hulkling, Giganto. They have an Iron Man. This is turn 6 of 7. We are again going to attempt to end the game here. Jubilee has a 1 in 3, and if it hits Blink, then it has a 50-50. So it's about a 50%er at that point. Actually, I think it's exactly 50% that I find Hela this turn, and then a 50-50 that Legion shows up over here. Potentially more than a 50-50, but we might not even hit the Legion, right? Okay, they're just going to retreat. They're fearing the Legion. We're doing the math. I think we would have had it this turn, and my opponent was also not doing anything super impressive, right? I mean, they could have potentially found the Wong into Mystique or something, but their curve wasn't great. So overall, I think we were in a pretty reasonable spot there. And they are dropping a turn 1 snap, and we have the Legion. But I think I'm going to respect this. We don't have the Corvus. Corvus is the card, and Blink and Jubilee are the cards that would make me stay in this spot. I don't want to give my opponent the impression that they can just snap and we will retreat. But you do have to respect a Mr. Negative player while also not giving them a free your opponent retreats button. So that's a really interesting aspect of this matchup. We have the Jubilee this time, so hands looking a little bit better. Also the Supergiant. Supergiant plus Jubilee can also be pretty good. We also just have the Hela. We also have Hala and TVA. Huh. I think I snap. They could magic the TVA. Let's snap. I got nothing, but they don't need to know that, right? Yeah. That is, they emoted there, so they kind of gave me a little bit more than they needed to. That emote, honestly, signaled to me that they did not have magic. They could have. They certainly could have. This game, I'm not snapping, but I will stay in it should they snap, and I'll snap if they don't have a turn 2 play. Ooh, Krakoa. Corvus into Krakoa is totally fine. Hela is a little bit awkward. We might wait. Okay, if we drew a Supergiant here, then we could have done something a little bit different. But I think we just need to Corvus into Krakoa. We could also Blink into Krakoa next turn. I'll play this here. They did not play a 2-cost card. They also cannot make use of Krakoa. We're going to snap. We're about to potentially discard our Hela, and I'd like to snap before I have to find out if that's what I'm doing. Some people might look at that the other way. Mathematically, we are not likely to discard Hela here, right? We do, but it wasn't likely that we had to. This is fine. Now we can actually Legion into Krakoa and take even further advantage of this location. I think we do that. If we get a +7 on Blade, that seems really good. They could wind up with like a -1 on something because they play Mr. Negative into a Condon Embassy here. This does mean now that I cannot magic, or I cannot get rid of Limbo. But this looks like a Mr. Negative into Jane draw. We find the Ghost Rider, so we've discarded 2 cards. So we could Ghost Rider, hope to hit Hela, Oh, also we keep sending... Yeah, this is really good because we keep sending the Krakoa buff. Now, if we hit Jubilee, the next card in the deck will have plus 12 on it, which is just really fantastic. Let's keep riding it out. If this is Jane, it's awkward, and they're going to put plus 9 on something with Jane. We get the Hela, so we're also going to get Jubilee over here. That's Gambit. Discard not Odin. Discards Odin. Bit of a bummer. Take some of their negative points off the table. But then I do get plus 12 on my next card, which is also kind of cute. But I've lost my Odin. So is this a Hulkling with plus 12 on it? Yes. And it's a Hulkling Gore. I don't think I can stay in it against a Jane negative draw. That's the awkward thing. This is an incredible amount of points. It will win the location that I play it to. Probably. But is that worth... Well, I'll still have 1 cube left. Man, that was a bummer of a discard. Not that I had a great setup for it. I guess I should have played that right here. Oh, that would have been slightly better. I think I play this here. And I think they might just give me this location. Like, I think they go big here and here. But they might not be able to go big enough. Yeah. I'm going to send it. Because here's the thing. They did not play a card on turn 2. Which means they do have... Like, they've drawn some of their best cards already prior to this. And that's the thing you have to know about a Mr. Negative deck. When they don't have their... Like, they could Mr. Negative Jane you and still not have that great of a Jane because they didn't have any plays early on in the game. Their hand was just stuck with a bunch of... like, their Mystique and their Wong were in their opening hand. And those aren't going to be reasonable plays on the final turn regardless. So... Hulkling, able to bring it down. A 40 power Hulkling is just never losing there. All right, our number's been called. We are up against an Invisible Woman deck this round. This is why I am playing Supergiant and why I'm playing Hela. I think Hela is a good way to go over top of this. And Supergiant is reasonable disruption, specifically kind of to Frigga, but also just to activate cards and potentially some end of turn cards. That is a really spicy hit. Not sure if y'all saw that one, but Hulkling just turned into Khonshu, which is a really interesting one. If it resurrects, it will return with 8 power. So that's kind of curious. They are going to play a turn 1 Sunspot and snap to Tinker's Workshop. We have the Supergiant, and then we just have a bunch of expensive cards. Jubilee could help us hit Hela. I'm still kind of figuring out what's in their deck. I think I'm going to stay in it for 2 cubes, though, with Jubilee and with Supergiant. Okay, they're snapping to being able to drop a Human Torch earlier into Rocket Pad to get some additional power on it. All of that seems reasonable. Now I have Blade to discard precisely Jubilee. That seems bad, but I could play Blade Jubilee in my Supergiant turn. So I actually don't hate that. So we're going to Supergiant here. That'll force them to commit a little bit more points to this location right now, which they are able to do. Actually... we beat them in the Rocket Pad, which is nice because they will get even more power out of this +1 power. Not expecting it to be a huge deal, but it's nice that we got it. And now we hit Legion. So we could Legion Sewer System to take a few of their points off the board. I think we just Blade Jubilee. We awkwardly cannot Odin this. So what are we even going to wind up doing next turn? Blink is a bad draw. Honestly, we're just hoping to draw exactly Corvus. I'll throw this here. Alright, if we hit exactly Corvus, then we could probably stay in this. But we hit Hela. So now we can't even Jubilee into the Hela. I think we just have to go. Yeah. This is not it. So yeah, the other thing that Supergiant stops, it stops the thing first steps from growing a little bit. But this was not one of our big hands. Maybe we could have just gotten out there. It's a tough decision to have to make that on turn 2 with a deck that really is like playing the odds of drawing things later on in the game. We didn't have a great hand, but I also didn't feel like we had a terrible one. So, tough call, but obviously a little bit punished for not retreating there. This hand has Jubilee and Blink. So I would feel pretty confident about staying in it with a hand like this. Maybe I don't quite have all of the Supergiant lines down, but here we could Supergiant Blink and then on the final turn play Jubilee plus Gambit. So this looks good to me so far. If we don't draw Hela next turn, then I think we'll snap in Corvus. And we'll probably be left with enough options as long as we don't discard both of these two. Ooh, Astral Plane is fun. We also draw Hela, which is a bummer. I think we're going to play Corvus here now and not snap. Could wind up getting a Supergiant right now from Astral Plane. Jubilee into here is also really fun, but I think this is all we can do for now, unfortunately. They play a Cyclops. Okay, we're going to have a lot of afflicted power over here. Perchance we lose my Jubilee and my Hela, but a reasonable chance to Ghost Rider one of them back. It's a Blink on the Corvus. Does that get me Infinite? It does. So I think we've just about locked up like Hellas. So now what we could do is we could Ghost Rider, then we could Odin the Ghost Rider as a means to try to get back Hela. If we hit Jubilee, then we cannot Odin the Ghost Rider. This could also be reasonably disruptive in sort of an annoying way for my opponent. I think we don't need to run out the Odin here just yet, or the Ghost Rider just yet. Let's play a Supergiant into Titan, I believe. We could put it here. No, I'm going to put it here because I might blink it. I might now blink the Supergiant into a Legion or a Hulkling, and then Odin the Blink to re-trigger that. We're going to have to battle up against a Bruce Banner here, but I think they might just let me have it in Lake Hellas. So this is a Supergiant turn. So we could pre-Odin. I didn't leave myself that much room here to play Ghost Rider plus Gambit on the final turn. Next turn, we could blink this into Hulkling. I didn't consider that. We could also reactivate this blink on Supergiant right now for Hulkling. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, but this is a Supergiant turn. Yeah, this is tough. Next turn I will have 7 energy. We're going to blink the Gambit. So they don't have Cosmo. This is part of the reason I do like this matchup, though, is because they're not really doing too much as far as interaction. We They did only spend 4 energy last turn, so this could just be a high Evo here. And then I'm thinking, let's do this. And then I've got better odds to discard something better, and then Ghost Rider just turns into Legion. And I'm putting a few points in Lake Hellas, which I think keeps me honest. But I'm mostly hard committing for Titan here. There is also this play, and maybe I could come up with enough points to actually get over the top in Astral Plane as well. Okay. I think Titan's actually going to be pretty contested. You know what? Let's do this then. Yeah, I like this. Let's snap. It's a boomer snap. I think my opponent has played this out long enough that they're potentially already looking to stay in it, or they've already retreated. But I think they've committed themselves to a game plan here, one way or the other, and the fact that they have not already retreated means I think that they are going to stay in it. Okay, maybe we boomer bullied them then. That might not have been the best snap. We could have gotten an additional cube by just playing it out there. It's tough. It's tough. This is... I won't say this is the worst matchup, because the fact that they don't have that much interaction does give me some angles here. All right. I'm staying in it. We've got the Corvus. We don't play the Blade because we want a chance to discard the Blade and not hit Hela. And not discard Ghost Rider even would be ideal. So as long as we don't draw Hela over the next 2 turns, I'm feeling decent about these cards. Could also just roll for a Gambit, but I do believe I'm going to roll out a Corvus Glaive into the big house next turn. Cyclops could be there. Ooh, ooh, ooh. All of that was very interesting. Very, very interesting. Because now, I think I am tempted to Ghost Rider into Sokovia or into Murder World, just the same. So I really don't want to discard this Ghost Rider. What did they lose? The Thing, right? I think we're going to snap here. I think we can apply pressure. I don't even know what I'm playing this turn. Probably not Gambit. Probably nothing. Yeah, probably they just retreat. Still respectable. We are up a cube. And we move into round 4. Not quite the high stakes mode yet. But once we get into high stakes mode, that is really going to up the pressure. Ooh, Sinister London. So that's pretty good for Invisible Woman. We could Legion to turn it off, but not before they get to drop their Invisible Woman. We could Gambit to try to hit their Invisible Woman on turn 3. I think I like my cards enough. We're going to stay in it for 2 here. Ooh, Great Portal. That's good for me. I can actually do something with an Orca, whereas they probably can't do anything with most of their hits here. Arnim Zola into Sinister London is super spicy. I kind of like Legion into a variety of different locations here. They're leaving themselves some room in Sinister London. Ooh, and we might lose it now. I would not mind losing it. Okay, Dark Dimension. Dark Dimension, pretty fantastic for me, actually. We're going to Corvus here. Legion into Great Portal could be a lot of fun. Legion into World Forge is just crazy. Into Dark Dimension does nothing. But I am considering a snap back right now. Yeah, I mean, we can't discard Hela here. So this looks good to me so far. Emperor Hulkling Arnim Zola is a really, really fun high roll. Let's see where that goes. We are going to discard both of our biggies, which means we can't Hela both of them back. Isle of Silence disables ongoings, but it does not disable the rest of what my opponent is doing. We could World Forge and just try to get spicy with it. It would disable Orca. This doesn't really amp up the, what do you call it? The randomness that much. And they already discarded the thing, right? Wasn't that this game? Oh, that was last game. So I could play Supergiant here. I am just going to play Legion, though. I'm content with this. I would like, potentially... I mean, maybe I could have played Jubilee there. Because I do need to find Hela, but I think we'll find it eventually. Okay. Savage Land has locked them out of the center location. That feels great. So this is just a win center. And then on the final turn, I could go Jubilee plus Gambit. And that's pretty fun. They could get more power here via a Misty Knight. And is this too much of a commit? It could be too much of a commit. Like, Jubilee also wins this location. Maybe we play Orca for now? Or do we play Jubilee hoping to hit Blink? It's a bummer if it hits the Blade. I think we could Jubilee into Blink fairly comfortably. It's a little bit of a bummer if it hits Odin. But other scenarios, I think it's really good, and we could maybe Blink this later. Okay, Human Torch. We want to win in World Forge and Savage Land. And I'm winning in Savage Land. But I am going to need to find some other things to do, and that could just be playing a Blink onto the Jubilee to get the Hela here. What else do we have? Sokovia discards Orca. That's fine. We just draw the Hela. So that's also fine. We play Hela here. It brings back only one of these. Which is decidedly not amazing. Well, for only bringing back one, we might as well just Ghost Rider, huh? Ghost Rider could Arnhem Zola and bring back another, could bring back the Infinite here. It's like the high rollist of the high rolls. Yeah, I'm in for this. Or it just hits the Infinite. Both of those seem like good results. We've got one Invisible Woman, and they are just sunspotting here. We do get the Emperor Hulkling, and then this could hit either Odin or an Infinite. It hits an Infinite, and I think Infinite's just going to be too big. This might actually... I don't think it's going to be a cosmic victory with these big sunspots, but it is still going to be a win. Booyah, baby. We get it done. It was close. It was close. They get me down to 33 points in World Forge, but we still take the match. We are currently 4-0, which means a few things. It means that if I win one more round, I will qualify for Worlds at the end of the year. And if I win 2 more rounds, then I will make the top 16 and day 2 of this tournament. So that's looking good. I also currently have the highest cube count of the players in the tournament because a lot of players did not play in the first round, but I did, and I'm undefeated. So that is all going good. And here is the deck list we are up against this round from Dragon. This is pretty spicy. Playing with the Storm Legion combo. That is not something that I was really expecting going into this tournament. Supergiant can disrupt Legion pretty well in most scenarios, though, so I feel good about that. And not sure what else. I mean, the Shadow King and the Killmonger don't do anything against us. So I think overall, I feel pretty good about this. Part of why I was like thinking for a second there is because I saw Invisible Woman in the deck list. And it was an Invisible Woman first step. So that kind of threw me because I just assumed this was an Invisible Woman first steps deck list. Shout outs to Dragon. They are a fan of the channel and a pretty good battler that we've played up against in some previous events. This is where this event is going to start to get tough. An onslaught on Emperor Hulkling, not gonna do it. Jubilee is an interesting way to win White Hot Room. Now, my opponent could always storm the location, but I don't think I hate discarding Infinite and then starting to battle for White Hot Room. If we draw exactly Corvus next turn, then we've made it a little bit more likely that we'll discard Jubilee. But honestly, at some point you even want to discard Jubilee, just so that way you've got differently costed cards that you're discarding in your Hela pool. Well, Blade could have been a little bit better here, but Jubilee could also go a little bit better here. If we Gambit and then we hit... Honestly, though, what am I battling for? I don't need this extra energy from White Hot Room. I don't want to play Gambit when next turn I could play Gambit and 50-50 destroy a card in Black Vortex. I don't want to be destroying cards over in Wakanda, but I am simply going to pass here. I do like the opportunity to Blade. Okay, they are just going to storm the Black Vortex. So that would have been the reason to play Gambit over here, for what it's worth. But now we are simply going to Jubilee here. If we hit Corvus and discard Hela, that's a bit of a bummer. But overall, I think this is looking pretty solid. They might have a lockout. We could also wind up legioning the flooded location and then the game is over. So that could be awkward. That kind of implies they have the combo. We could take a 1-3 to try to kill War Machine. I like their snap here a lot. If we hit Supergiant, that also turns them off of their plan. I don't like the idea that we could hit Legion, though. Let's go here, I think. We could also hit Blink into Legion. Let's go here. Let's not worry about the flooded location. They do have the War Machine. And maybe we will hit the Legion and overwrite the flooded location anyways. Blink, Blinking Blade into Legion. Yes, okay. So either way, we were Legioning center, so it doesn't really matter. But now I think we could possibly look at snapping back. The problem with snapping back here, well, let's see what's in my discarded pile. Now it is only Infinite. And they're fairly likely to play Infinite too. Oh, we could Gambit, and then next turn we could go Hela plus Blade. I like that a lot. This also has the chance to hit War Machine here. 1-3. That's pretty decent odds. And then 1-4 to discard Hela. So we're favored here. Yeah, because there's some things that could go right, and those are at a better chance of things that could go wrong. We are filling up White Hot Room, and then we will lose the center location to an Infinite specifically. But I think that's a play I'm willing to make. And then next turn we get to Blade, discard whatever we draw. Could be Ghost Rider or Corvus or Supergiant. And then Hela back that card plus Infinite. Which all seems solid. Oh, and we will also potentially discard the Blade or the Odin or the Emperor Hulkling here. Or they will retreat, yeah. I think that was a good retreat from my opponent, to be totally honest. We were able to disrupt their Storm game plan. And it's most of what their deck is doing. Most of, but not all. This is an interesting curve. They're going to get my Infinite or my Hela, actually. But I really like getting their Infinite or their Legion. Okay. This is actually I think this might be snappable. I think that this is snappable from here for a few reasons. One, an additional card in our hand makes it less likely that Corvus discards Hela. Turn 4 Legion will be able to beat their crazy draws. So that's a lot less things that we have to care about. And third location is going to be Orcus Forge and then Hellcarrier. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Okay. Corvus here, it's without priority. They are snapping. That is curious. I think the plan is... I mean, we could wind up discarding the Emperor Hulkling here. I do not want Sentinels. I almost want to leave myself room in Feast to potentially use that next turn, but what if we draw Blade? then next turn we could go Blade plus Legion, so I think I like that too. Start off with the Corvus, they are going to storm it. I thought there was a chance they would just storm this location, but now I simply get to Legion in White Palace. Never mind, actually I still could. I could still Legion in White Palace here. Oh no, they also took my Ghost Rider. Okay, that was the worst possible hit then. So they have Prio, so we could roll... I think this is probably just a good play regardless. And we're going to play it here so that way we can Hela and then Odin the Gambit plus Hela. Yep, let's just hope I don't discard Hela or Odin. Or that we hit the War Machine off the 1 and 3. Both of those are pretty great things. We discard the Odin, but do we kill the War Machine? No. But this is still fine. We actually grab a Legion out of this too. We are unable to play Blade this turn. What was this again? Totally forget. Oh, that's really funny. Oh, shoot, that's really, really funny. We have the Ghost Rider in there too. Maybe some funky stuff happens, but we're going to turn off the flooded location here for a 66% chance. Oh no, they have Prio. Oh, so that always still happens, but maybe, I mean, just an Infinite doesn't necessarily beat me. Oh, especially if we Gambit and then Hela again. That is beautiful. We discard an Infinite. We take out their Legion. And as long as we get that here, yeah. So now Infinite wins this location or this location or this location. But that was a really good Odin, and we did set it up. It's lucky, but we did set it up. Let's take a quick look at their deck to see what else they could possibly have. No Shang-Chi. So the only thing that really gets me here is Copycat plus a Dream. Copycat, Ebony Maw, and, you know, Shadow King. But that's not going to do it. That's a win. I'm going to hit him. Hit him with the I Am Confident. It seems like a good matchup for me, to be totally honest. I was slightly nervous when I saw Invisible Woman on their deck list, but after a closer inspection, Invisible Woman was where that card's name stopped. No first steps here. So we have taken some good first steps in this match for sure. 10 cubes to 4 remaining for Dragon. Not retreating here just yet. Are we snapping? We have the Supergiant too. We can go Gambit into Supergiant or Jubilee for Starbrand Crater. If we want. Could also wind up discarding Hela, but reasonable chance that we just find some other solid points here. I think we're going to snap. They could have a turn 2 Surge or Mr. Fantastic first steps to potentially get out a Legion on turn 4. But short of those like very specific scenarios, Supergiant shuts down a lot of their deck's main game plan. And we'll be able to grab another cube with a pretty solid setup and some snap pressure. I like snapping early and often to give your opponent less opportunity to make decisions and be able to get back into the game. I was actually just having a conversation with Denish, who is the creator of this deck, and they were rank 1 on the Infinite leaderboard last season, and they brought up the metric of cubes per minute as something that is very important when you are going for that top leaderboard spot, because it's about taking your time investment and getting as many cubes out of that as you possibly can. Not really relevant for tournament play, but still interesting. We could Gambit without priority. We could Camartage, discard our entire hand. Next turn we have Jubilee into Camartage. That's pretty sweet. Let's Corvus. There are some ways that this could backfire. But there's some ways that this could front fire as well. Like if they pull my Odin or my Hela before my Corvus comes down, both of those things are awkward. They could also just be storming Otto's Lab or Camartage here. Both of those seem like reasonable plays too. If they storm Otto's Lab, we're going to stay in it. If they storm Otto's Lab, then we have Gambit into Camartage, so I think they will storm Camartage for that reason, which means we could pull Legion into Otto's Lab, which is pretty funny. No, this is Fantastic plus Storm. Okay. So they do have Storm into Otto's Lab, which is fine, because it means that I don't wind up cheating out anything here. If Mr. Fantastic hits the Legion, oh, I discard my Hela. That's a bit of a bummer, but we do still have the Jubilee, and we have Ghost Rider. So I think we actually Supergiant, and then next turn we're going to Ghost Rider to get back Hela and Gambit. And then we're just finishing off with like an Odin or an Emperor Hulkling over in nowhere. We could even wind up bringing these two back with Hela discarded by Gambit into Camartage. So this is pretty reasonable. As long as they don't have the Legion for us right here. That is not the Legion. That is a War Machine. No Legion for you, my friend. We do have the extra energy. I think we are just playing... maybe it's just better to play Ghost Rider next turn. It could be a little bit more energy efficient. So this turn, I am simply playing Odin into nowhere for points. Next turn, I'm playing Ghost Rider into Camartage every time, plus possibly a Blade off the top for 3 more points over in nowhere. They could have an Infinite. We're still winning currently in the flooded location. I feel good about that then. Yeah. Because we're currently winning in the flooded location, I think we have to send this. Ghost Rider's going to bring back some serious points in Camartage. And then we're keeping him honest over in nowhere as well. It's also good to have cards in my hand to discard to this Gambit. I'm going to be able to discard Legion and Jubilee regardless of if I draw Blade or not, because we'll play Blade into nowhere. So all of that seems pretty good. Dragon's got to decide if they want to give up their final cubes. I probably should have snapped earlier before they saw the Supergiant, but they are going to stick with it here. They are going to take over the flooded location this turn with a face-down card. And we are simply going to bring back Gambit and Hela, hopefully in that order. If it's not in that order, it is significantly worse. But I think we can still get it done with... Oh... Wait, we have Prio. We have Prio. Beautiful. If they had Prio, they could have Legioned the flooded location this turn to turn off Camartage. But we have Prio. We're in for 3 cubes at this point. And potentially qualifying for Worlds with this game right here. I feel pretty good about it. It's a 50-50. But if we get the Gambit first, it's incredibly insane. We could actually get Gambit and then wind up reanimating Jubilee. Is that possible? Maybe that is possible. And would Hela then potentially bring back the Gambit into nowhere? Okay, maybe there's some things that could go wrong right now. I think we'll be all right. I think... yeah, there's some things that could go wrong here for sure. I thought it was a fairly straightforward final turn, but they are playing 2 cards here. I get the Gambit first. That seems like a pretty good start. And then it's going to be Legion to take out War Machine. That's a lot of points. And we also take out the Surge. And then do we get Hela? We get Legion. That might not actually be the best. We only have 8 points over in nowhere. Are we going to have enough points over in nowhere? We do not. We actually just lose this game. Unless this is somehow a 1 power card. It cannot be. Dang. Okay. Yeah, they got me on this one. Copycat. Could that be a bad copycat? No, it's a copycat on Emperor Hulkling, which creates some Doombots. I did not realize that the Gambit discard was going to clog up the Ghost Rider. I was thinking I was already set to reanimate Hela I would have lost this location, probably won the other two, like Jubilee, Odin doing some crazy stuff, and Legion coming back, making all of the locations flooded. Awkward. All right. We still have the Supergiant, so that's good. Savage Land, not great. Hela with the Corvus already, potentially not great. Corvus Hela looks good. Or, I'm sorry, Corvus Blink looks good. Feast. If Emperor Hulkling was a different card, it would be Giganto. So when it transforms into Giganto and just has 4 less power for a worse ability, kind of daggers. But I think we're going to go Corvus. If we can, we go Corvus into Supergiant, into Hela. And then if we get a final turn, we try to discard some more cards. We're likely to keep Hela. But are we snapping to this? Are we snapping to Supergiant? I'm going to. They have their Mr. Fantastic, which is their best turn 2 play. It's crazy that Copycat can be literally anything if it hits Emperor Hulkling. Less likely to hit Emperor Hulkling, though, if we draw it. All right, and then they storm out the feasted location. So I think we're all right here if we... Oh, shoot. I discard my Hela. All right. We have Prio, so we could just make everything into Stark Tower or even everything into Savage Land. That could lock them out of the flooded location and be pretty funny. I think this could work. Emperor Hulkling has to go into Savage Land. Yeah, that's still incredibly awkward. Odin can win the can tie the flooded location, unless it has a Mr. Fantastic trigger on it. I think that Legion into Savage Land is just always a solid play, though. Okay, we lock them out of Stark Tower now instead. That is going to be Invisible Woman plus an unknown card for possibly fairly cheap. Odin into Savage Land is funny, but I don't think gets it done. So I think it might have to be this. And then next turn we have Supergiant plus Gambit, which is incredibly likely to hit a Raptor. This has to be this right now. Oh, they can Legion into Savage Land and lock me out. If they got it, they got it. I can't really play around that. I don't want to do this. I could do this. This plays around Legion into Savage Land A. Sure. It's less points, but I think it's a safer play. Yeah. Okay. So now I've won this location. We are tied in this location. But I think, I mean, I can play Emperor Hulkling here. They cannot play the Infinite. I think we've won this location, lost this location, and I think we've always won this location. Copycat would be locked here. It can't be Infinite because they played last turn. I think we've just gone and done it. I think that this is good enough. What do they have for us here? Enchantress. Nice. Well played. I did see the Legion line. It was Copycat on a Blade, and we are able to take Dragon out there. Well played. And now, at 5-0, we are qualified for Marvel Snap Golden Gauntlet Worlds, and with one more win, we'll be able to make top 16. You know, if that doesn't happen, I'm still very happy with my performance up until this point. But one more game. We've got some Supergiant on Supergiant action here. I did think about this deck when selecting mine. it's not a great matchup. They have some tech that they can stop us with, Cosmo, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, but Fenris Wolf is honestly a pretty big bummer because it means that they can just steal any of the cards that we are discarding for Hela. Not even any of our cards. They always steal the biggest card that we are discarding. Gladiator is a liability. That's one that they'll probably try to avoid. They have Mercury Cannonball in the form of Supergiant, so it flips up at the end of the game as well. And Ronin is going to be particularly small. That is one thing that we do have going for us. There is another interesting angle here too in Maximus as a disruptive element for Blade. Probably not going to come up for the most part. I think that Ronin will be pretty small and Fenris Wolf will matter very bigly in this matchup. Supergiant, I've been trying to think of how that could work either way, because if I play my Hela down, then they could just know where my Hela is coming, which allows them to Cosmo on the final turn. So who has priority could also be a pretty big deal. And yeah, keeping as many cards from being discarded. Like if we can go Supergiant into Hela, though that would imply that we've played a Corvus. But still, there's like potential weird scenarios where we discard our cards on turn 6 and then flip over our Supergianted Hela. That could be fun. The other thing that I want to make sure I mention, another Emperor Hulkling Giganto. Another thing that, yeah, I definitely want to bring up here. Like Blade into Hulkling, and then we're going to wind up discarding whatever we draw next turn will get discarded. Is that good? Probably. Probably good. Yeah, I think I like that. Ooh, that could give me Odin or Legion. Gives me Corvus. Whew. Okay, that had the chance to backfire because that could have discarded Ghost Rider, Hela. Like, yeah, Gladiator can do some spicy things. But for right now, we're kind of looking good. We could Ghost Rider right here and then Legion the White Hot Room to turn on Valhalla. That's really funny. Why do we have an extra energy right now? Oh, I Corvused. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. We're going for a turn 6 Hela in before the Fenris Wolf, most likely here. And if they want a Fenris Wolf, then... Okay, they actually do manage to take Prio. So now they do have some potential plays. Never mind, we're going to take Prio back as we turn that into a Jubilee. We're going to fill up Valhalla and Legion into Valhalla right now. No, it's going to be Supergiant into Valhalla. That actually does funk with my plans just a little bit. We do get the Legion, which means we will also Ghost Rider back. No, we won't, because, no, yeah, Valhalla is not triggered yet. I should get a Ghost Rider here, right? I don't think I'm getting a Ghost Rider here. I did not get a Ghost Rider. Oh, that's curious. I would have thought that I did. Still, this is an incredible amount of points into their Negasonic Teenage Warhead. This is a Supergiant turn. But I'm going to flip first. I have Prio, so Hela just works, and then next turn I can discard to Gambit and discard to Blade if I want to as well. I'm out of cards in my deck. Is that right? Huh. Okay. Yeah, Jubilee into Valhalla. I'm now out of cards in my deck. We're going to play Hela here. Next turn, we are going to Gambit one of these cards and drop a Blade. It all looks pretty fantastic to me. What could this be? A Ronin? Oh, Ronin's going to be the smallest Ronin you've ever seen, my friend, unfortunately. But we will still drop these, and then we will reanimate. Oh, only 2 cards left to reanimate, but still a Hulkling and a Infinite. Looks pretty fantastic to me. Hopefully we get to take this one for 4 cubes. Maximus will not even get to pump their Ronin. That is really, really silly. All right. A good cube lead, hopefully for 4 cubes, but probably for 2. Wow. They're playing it out. What do they have here? Gambit discarding Annihilus, which means we also get to bring Annihilus back. Omniversal Presence. It's going to give them Vibranium Mines. Cosmo, too slow, my friend. Maximus. That's a cosmic victory. Oh, wait. Cosmo does reveal before mine. Oh, but it doesn't matter. Oh, my gosh. I totally messed this up. That could have gone terribly for me. That was not a Ronin. That was a Cannonball. That could have gone absolutely terrible for me. The cards on turn 6 flip up. I knew that there was a problem with that, but I convinced myself that there wasn't because I had Prio. We still got the win. Maybe not the most deserved win, but I'll take it. I'll take a 4 cube lead here. Dark Dimension in a Supergiant matchup. I can't use my Sasquatch emote, so that's a bummer. Gambit plays well here. I think they're going to think twice before gladiatoring me. And they still do not have the Fenris Wolf, though you'd always play Merlin first, right? Ooh, Triskelion, some cards to discard. Do think I would like to get some cards out of my hand. And now seems like a fine time to do so. Do I want to turn off Merlin? Turn off Merlin, potentially turn off Cosmo. Or just go for Rocketing Groot. Rocketing Groot can give me priority into Dark Dimension, which is also pretty fun. This is exactly a Negasonic. It's a bit of a bummer, but I'm willing to play for it here. It's Cosmo. Okay. Well, I was going to play Gambit Center anyways, but this is solid. Like I said, now I just have the opportunity to move it over to prevent... Oh, and the Cosmo is now not in Dark Dimension. So I can now freely slam everything over into Dark Dimension. And really, really get him potentially. I could also Jubilee into Blink. Blink this Rocketing Groot into something a little bit bigger. I could move it before I do that, but I think I'm going to Jubilee here, and I think I'm going to Snap. I'd like to hit the Corvus Glaive. But there's a lot of good things that could come out of this. Blade being the worst. But, like, I'm not going to sweat a 1 in 6 here. Okay, Supergiant. Not Blade, not Blade. Blink on the Rocket into Infinite. Hulkling? Infinite. Nicely done. Nicely done. Now we find the Blade. So... whatever we play here ain't really flippin'. We could just play it all into Dark Dimension. Like, we could go... Blade. Supergiant. Just battle for all 3 locations right now. And then next turn play Hela into Dark Dimension. That gives me a lot of flexibility around the Supergiant curves, too. Yeah, looks good to me. We're already in it for 2 cubes. This could be a Cannonball. It is a Cannonball without priority. So they're looking to knock away Hela, but if Hela brings something back into this location, we're good. The awkward thing here is that we're not actually doing that much. The Hela will just bring back a Corvus Glaive. That is not super exciting. Another play that we could make is just Corvus Glaive, Gambit, and then Cannonball knocks out Corvus Glaive here. Should actually play... what is this again? This is a Supergiant? I want to do this, protect myself against Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Corvus Glaive is like slightly, or like just playing Hela it's slightly more points, but Gambit being able to hit their Supergiant, I think, does put it over the top for me. I think there's definitely ways that we lose this game. Negasonic into Maximus, and then Cannonball over here. Gets a little bit scary, but if we can hit their Supergiant, ooh, Gladiator plus Vulture, that's not what I was expecting. We are going to tie an Onslaught Citadel and then beat my opponent on Differential. In fact, close one. We left ourselves one card to discard for Gambit. Did not consider that, but we do still grab a win there for 4 cubes to put my opponent down to just 1 cube. And I don't think I brought this up at the beginning of this recording. I'm no longer the cube leader in this tournament. I have had 40 cubes remaining at the end of my matches. There's one other player with 40 cubes remaining and one player with 41 cubes remaining. So I am also trying to win this match with as much cubes as possible, but now I am just feeling good and gonna definitely give my opponent some props here. They have got to win basically the next 5 games, but maybe they will start to draw that Fenris Wolf and things could start to look up for them. But right now, I gotta say, it's looking like a pretty good situation for NoLucksGiven. Spectrum does not count. Gives me nothing. Wakanda, bad. Morag, bad. Nova Roma, though, I will say, good. I will say good to Nova Roma. We're going to go Corvus Glaive. We might even Legion Nova Roma. It is actually that good. If we miss and discard Legion, then we can blink Corvus. We're going to snap here. They'd have to play Fenris this turn. And the other thing that we have going for us when we have Corvus is they have to make an interesting decision about when they are going to activate Fenris, but they straight up don't have it. We're going to discard Odin and Emperor Hulkling. Those are great discards. We can Legion. We can honestly Legion Wakanda at this point too. I think I'm going to save Blink Blade for next turn and simply Legion Wakanda right now so that we don't have to deal with their cards. It's a 50-50 for Prio, but we will be taking away Negasonic Teenage Warhead into Morag. That could be the play from my opponent here. It is the play. They are going to retain priority and have some additional energy on this turn, but we no longer care about Negasonic Teenage Warhead. And that is going to give, that's going to give my opponent a big sigh and a retreat. So if the cube leader going into this round lost 2 cubes, we have the most cubes out of anyone from day one in this tournament, and we're going to Worlds, and we made the top 16. Into the top 16 now, and unfortunately, we are once again playing up against a Fenris Wolf deck. So this could get a little bit tricky here still yet. This is like a Surfer-less Surfer deck here from KMO, and most of the cards, I would say, are not particularly impressive against us. Gladiator, we've seen that kind of backfire, but have the potential to be relevant. This deck feels like it's mostly points. Mobius and Killmonger do not interact with us. Shang-Chi, this is actually the first opponent we are playing today that has Shang-Chi, I think. I might be forgetting one in there, but I don't think anyone's tried to Shang-Chi us yet. Yeah, the Supergiant player also did not try to Shang-Chi us. So mostly Shang-Chi is what we have to worry about. And that can get a little bit tricky with Fenris. One of the ways that you can potentially beat Fenris is by Hela-ing before they think you're going to Hela. And if you do that, then of course you are open to getting Shang-Chi'd. So hopefully we can dodge that. I just played a practice match against Kingpin where I had a 100% success rate with my Gambits hitting Fenris Wolf. I'll try to make that happen, but no promises. If they run out the turn 2 Fenris, which is their worst turn 2 play I guess Mr. Sinister might be a slightly worse turn to play, but certainly worse than either Mr. Fantastic or Surge. But if that's what they have, then I'll try to gambit it as early as I can, and then I will miss, and they will reanimate the card that I gambit. Like, they could go Fenris into Brood, and then I'm like a 1-in-4 to hit their thing, because they will have Prio. Unless I Blade out an Infinite on turn 1, but then there's like a 50-50 they have Prio, and then they might just be able to activate Fenris immediately and take my Infinite. So that could be pretty bad. I don't even know what I'm doing with this yet, if this is multiple videos or exactly what we are working with here, but we are already qualified and already in the top 16, so I'm already feeling pretty good. Maria is kind of nice with Blink, but I could also curve out with her. And honestly, that seems like a pretty good opportunity. I'm going to see what she brings me here. Maria brings me a Surge. Okay. Honestly, that could just be snappable. I could now Gambit with priority if they play a Fenris Wolf or if they play anything. Otherwise, I Corvus Glaive. I think you want to take the good opportunities where they come in a bad matchup. This is something that I don't see talked about super often, but if you are in a bad matchup, so typically in Marvel Snap, you should snap a 50-50, right? Because it doesn't change your equity, and your opponent might retreat to the snap if they don't recognize it's a 50-50 or think that their odds are worse than that or something like that. Now, there's a different scenario that you might need to snap in a 40-60 if all of your other games are 30-70s, right? So that is definitely something that I want to keep in mind in this matchup, because there are cards that I don't want to see. Valley of the Hand, potentially a location that I don't want to see. We might have to Legion that, and I'll need a reminder. Oh, Sassy! Oh, it's my girl! It's my girl, Sasquatch. Necrotia, a reasonable Legion target. Don't think we have the opportunity to run out a Gambit here. If we hit the Legion, actually that could be interesting. If we hit the Odin, then we Ghost Rider here. If we hit the Legion, we Ghost Rider here. This is also a naked Gambit into nothing. But what could they possibly play here? They could play a Mobius, a Fastos, a Gladiator. I guess I shouldn't Gambit into nothing, huh? What is this again? A Sasquatch? So I want to play Ghost Rider next turn? That's tricky. All right, I could have killed a Fastos. This is a really, really slow hand from them. It kind of makes me just want to battle, but this is... I think we could play it out for 2. I mean, they now see that I don't have the Corvus, right? Slightly regretting not playing the Gambit, but maybe we get rewarded and wind up discarding Infinite here. We're going to play it out, and I'm not going to worry about... Maybe I do play the Gambit into Necrotia still. Yeah, everything's going to be Necrotia, unless I discard Legion right here. It's the only way this gets a little bit awkward. Shouldn't will it into existence. Okay. Wow. That was a pretty good hit. I think we snap to that. Playing this here, we're going to take out Valley of the Hand if they're playing for that idea. I think we snap back. And then we will get to bring back that Emperor Hulkling, which is just on Sasquatch. We could bring it back with Ghost Rider and then play Corvus Glaive. That's more points than just Hela, and we get to target where we want it. And the every location Necrotia also feels fairly sided for me. Let's see if they have Fenris Wolf here, and if we manage to take priority against a Fenris Wolf. It is Fenris Wolf. We do not manage to take priority, so they can bring back the Hulkling right here. So, I think because of that, now we're actually doing... Oh, I don't have extra energy. Oh, shoot. We have to retreat then. I was for some reason thinking I was going to have 7 energy this turn. So I could Gambit, try to hit their Fastos. All of that feels incredibly unlikely. We're going to retreat for 4 cubes. Bummer. Bummer. But yeah, they held Fenris Wolf for turn 5. That is just a powerful thing that their deck can do, is hang on to the Fenris Wolf, and then I'm kind of at a loss there, unfortunately. Okay. Okay. This might be the end of the tournament run, but, and I'm not saying that to be negative. I want to put out positive thoughts, but my positive thought here is we still had a great run regardless. Supergiant stops the turn 5 Fenris. That's nice. Let's see if they make a play for turn 2 instead. When I've got the Corvus. I think I'm snapping. I could afford to wait another turn, but I think we're snapping here. Let's wait another turn since I'm not giving out any info this turn. They do have the Mr. Fantastic. Destroyed Mansion. Well, that's actually fantastic because a Vibranium in my hand is less likely to make me discard Hela. I don't think I'm ever Legioning Destroyed Mansion. I think I'm just playing a turn 4 Supergiant to stop Fenris Wolf from coming down. If they let me. If they let me. So this looks like Supergiant, and then we could even play a Vibranium. We could also just play a Blade, discard the Infinite while it's in the hand. I think that might be the best option. The other option is Legion, right? Yeah, let's go for this. And then I do have one other potential weird play here. Skip Vibranium plus Infinite. Oh, I no longer have that as a play. Maybe I should have considered that a little bit more. Okay. We still have Blink into Blade right now, or Blink the Vibranium. I guess we're blinking the Vibranium always, right? Because this is actually a play for next turn, and we're hoping that this gives us a Ghost Rider. I'm finishing the game off. I'm just double checking. No Cosmo. They can't play Fenris Wolf. We've already snapped. Next turn, I'm hoping to hit Jubilee. I think I am going to Legion the Destroyed Mansion, just so that way I have cards to discard for Gambit. It's kind of a silly play, but could be useful. Maybe too many points in New York. It's fine, because we're going to play Legion over here. And yeah, we're going to leave New York wide open. They're going to drop some cards here, and we find the Ghost Rider, actually. So Ghost Rider could hit Hela, and then something else, Odin, and then something else, or just straight up give me the Infinite, and then this can become Gambit, or it can become Jubilee into Hulkling, or Jubilee into Gambit. All of this seems fantastic. I think we're battling for all 3 locations. This makes me a little bit nervous that they know my exact point output here. But we could maybe get Hela, and then we could have an Infinite anywhere. And do have to worry about Shang-Chi. We obviously have priority. They can win a location with Shang-Chi and a location with their cards. But I don't think we're getting better than this. So we're going to run it. And we mostly even play around Shang-Chi here. It's just Infinite, which we might not even get. Or we might get Odin into Infinite or Hela into Infinite. Which is still a lot of points. We take the cube lead if we win this. We are basically out of the event if we lose it. But I think this is... I would stay if they snapped. I would love to snap again. I think this is a really good position here. One of the better positions we can get against this deck specifically. We could see a retreat as well. And then we are, unfortunately, still down a cube. This feels like a retreat. They are going to stay in it. They move a bunch of things to the center. and then I get Odin into Hela into Infinite. The whole, I did not even consider that as an option. Wow, I run the whole table there. Infinite does land center, which could be a little bit awkward. And how is this Galacta going to pump? Did they leave a Brood over in the pad? They might have, but you know what? This is not a Shang-Chi center. Gambit, take out Galacta again, take out the Vibranium. All right, that's a swing and the miss. It is a Brood over into Rocket Pad. That is not going to be enough. Oh, but they kill my Blade. So that is enough, but we do win the other 2 locations. We'll have to, I mean, I'm fine with Killmonger. It destroys 1 card in my deck, or potentially my Maria Hill, which I had in the first game, which I definitely would have forgotten about, because like Killmonger, I just wrote it off. Did not even consider it was a card in my opponent's deck list after a point. But now, we do have a cube advantage, and we have a potentially spicy null. My opponent has a free Shang-Chi target here already. So that is reasonable for them. We are going to want to potentially... I'm staying in this one. They could have the Fenris, but it's worth 2 cubes to, like, make them play the Fenris by turn 4. Okay, that is the Fenris. It'd be hard to gambit the Fenris right now, but I would run it out there if given the opportunity. They might be able to steal a Hulkling or an Infinite. If they steal the Hulkling and then Shang-Chi us here, that is a GG. But we're going to play it out, and we're going to play out a Corvus here as well. Maybe we can get them with an early Hela that kind of surprises them. That's the game plan right now. Dog. What? Okay. So now we need to Gambit, and then we need to Odin the Gambit, and then we need to Emperor Hulkling. This is still possible. It's definitely still possible. We're already in it for 2 cubes. We can play out the next 2 turns regardless. They have Prio, so there's a chance this hits their Galacta instead, or their Gwenpool. I could have dodged this location and opened up for Shang-Chi. Are they Fenris Wolfing now? Or, I mean, they don't have to. I lost both of my cards. Fenris? Worst possible Gambit hit, and I... worst possible discard as well. Didn't even put my null out of Shang-Chi range. So we have to blink this Gambit. Could maybe lock them out of this location if they play another card here. Like if they play Galacta here and this hits Legion, it could lock them out. And then I'm hoping to go over the top with null. They did not play. They did play a Shang-Chi. Let's see what else they have. If Odin re-triggers here, I don't think it will bounce the blink. Supergiant. Yeah, I mean, so I'm up by... I would need this to be... So what's the best thing that we discarded? Hela? There is still an interesting opportunity. If they play a Hela... No, it's not enough points. I was thinking if they play 2 cards here, I think that they'll always try to win this location again, too. There are ways that we can actually win this. My 20 power Emperor Hulkling goes over the top in any location. So if they didn't go for this location, I could play Emperor Hulkling and win. There's a chance I should have taken that because future games might just be even worse than that. The only other option that I had was hoping that they played a card here and then making 2 more monsters and having my monster be bigger than what they played here. I think they would need to have played exactly a Mr. Fantastic into the 3rd location for that to be possible, though. This is a bad hand for me. We're in high stakes mode. And It seems like a reasonable hand for them. We're going to retreat and then try to win the next 3 games. This is where you have to think about, like, is it better to just let it ride than trying to win the next 3 games in a matchup that seems not great? We have some cards here, but I think we do have to retreat. If our hand was a little bit better, then I would have considered it, but the hand is pretty terrible. And so I think we do have to run. And let's see if our run is coming to a close here. This is a good hand. This is a good hand. Legion into Crimson Cosmos could lock my opponent out of the final turn as well. It won't stop Shang-Chi, nor will it stop Fenris Wolf or other 4-cost cards that they have. But it will stop anything reduced in cost as well. Okay. That's a Surge. We could Gambit here. It's not crazy. Wow, Valley of the Hand again. I think we're going to discard Emperor Hulkling. This, like, kind of keeps them honest a little bit. Not in an extremely powerful way, but I would not mind potentially giving them a rock here. Sure. We'll discard Emperor Hulkling. They will play a Fastos, and we will get a rock instead. So now next turn, the plan is Gambit. Oh. That's Emperor Hulkling. I don't think that that's that useful for me, though. Yeah, we're going to turn off Valley of the Hand next turn. We're going to Gambit here. We're going to Legion next turn if we still have it. And then we're going to Odin the following turn if we still have it again. A few things we need to dodge. Cool. Those were really good dodges. We take Prio here. We possibly cut them off pretty powerfully for the rest of the game. If they play a Fenris Wolf, they probably take priority, but we're battling for the location that they don't have. All right, it looks like they did take Prio here. They respected the Crimson Cosmos play as well, so they dumped their entire hand, including the Fenris Wolf. Dang. So they are going to get back the Emperor Hulkling at this location, which means we could get back Odin over here. This is a big loss. And then they also get to play a card for the turn. Yeah, they always grab an Emperor Hulkling, which is on Giganto, but that doesn't matter. I just need to hope the Odin gives me the 1 in 3 and lets me keep playing the game. That's all we've got. NoLucksGiven, baby. I was going to fist bump them, but I don't want to give up any more information. Let's see if we've done it. They made a pretty good play there by dumping all of their cards on this final turn. They only activate Fenris Wolf, no other play. So this is very possible. It's Odin, but in the wrong spot. Odin into Crimson Cosmos would have won it. I mean, they're all Crimson Cosmos. Odin right would have won it. That was all that I could have done. Was there like a different hedge I could have made? Maybe Hela here, because Odin here also wins it, and Odin here potentially wins it, considering it could destroy a Broodling or the Emperor Hulkling. Well, we've already... Yeah. Or the Emperor Hulkling. Yeah. All right. GG's. It's unfortunate that it has to end on a loss, but most tournaments will. And I still feel really great about a top 16 finish. And that is going to be it for me. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace. To enter into my giveaway, there are 3 things that you need to do. The first is subscribe to this YouTube channel. The second is leave a comment on any of my videos. This season, every comment will give you an additional entry into the giveaway. Limit 1 per video, but you can comment on all of the videos that I upload throughout this season. And the third thing that you have to do is join my Discord. And the reason that I need you to do that is so that way I can contact you if you win, because YouTube comments, you don't always get the notifications for things like that. So join my Discord, leave a comment on all of my videos, and subscribe for more Sweet Marvel Snap.